Hi. In this video, we're going to look at the verb poder plus the infinitive. We're going to first look at what poder is. So poder is a modal verb, and we're going to learn what that means. We're going to see some examples. We're going to look at how to form the verb poder in the present tense. We're looking at these in the present tense this lesson. And finally, we're going to do a little bit of practice together. So let's start with poder is a modal verb. What does that mean? Well, a modal verb is a verb we use along with a main verb. And in the case of poder, we use it to talk about what we can do. So here's some examples. I can go shopping. Can is the modal, and then go shopping is the main verb. What can you do? We can play sports, can is the modal, and then play sports is the main verb. What can we do? We can play sports. So that's what a modal verb is, and that's what those look like in English. So let's see how to form these in Spanish. Okay. Well, we need a form of the verb poder plus a second verb, the main verb in the infinitive. What's the infinitive? The infinitive is the verb with the AR, ER, or IR just still on the end. So it's not conjugated. We just leave it like that with the AR, ER, or IR on the end of it. So let's start with looking at the forms of the verb poder. And the thing to point out here is that poder is another stem changing verb. We've looked at a couple of stem changing verbs where the stem here, pod, changes in every form except for the nosotros and vosotros. So I can is yo puedo. It changes that O to a UE. You can in the informal register, tú puedes, or in the formal register, usted puede. He or she can, él o ella puede. We can, and again, it doesn't change. So the O just stays the O in the nosotros form, podemos. You guys can, or you all can, in the plural you, in the vosotros form, podes, and then in the ustedes form, like you would use in Mexico, goes back to the UE, to that change in the stem, pueden. They can, ellos or ellas pueden. We're going to add a little element here. We're going to add the passive voice, and we're going to come back to that in just a second, because I want to point out that poder, once you've done the stem change here, just takes regular ER endings. And so, like I said, we're doing the present tense here. I can, puedo. You can, puedes or puede. He or she can, puede. Nosotros podemos. Vosotros podéis. Ustedes pueden. Ellos, ellas pueden. Okay? And the passive voice, se puede. Se puede has the se in front of it. We've seen the se as a reflexive pronoun, but in this case, it's used differently. The passive voice is like saying in English, one can. Like in my neighborhood, one can go to the movies, or one can go shopping. It sounds a little bit formal in English. We might actually say you can, and when we say you can, we don't mean like you specifically, but like the universal you. Like you can go to the movies in my neighborhood, or one can go to the movies in my neighborhood. And the passive voice se puede is used really frequently in Spanish. So se puede, one can. And then, like I said, the second part here is to add the main verb, what can we do, in the infinitive. So, ir de compras, go shopping. Hacer deporte, do sport or play sport. Comer bien, eat well. Pasear, to go for a walk, right? So I can go shopping, puedo ir de compras. Or we can do sport, podemos hacer deporte. Or one can eat well in my neighborhood, se puede comer bien en mi barrio. All right, so let's look at some examples here. Let's practice a little bit. All right, my friends and I can go shopping, so mis amigos y yo, and that'd be we, podemos ir de compras. I can play sports, so I can, puedo jugar deportes, or hacer deporte. And you could say yo puedo hacer deporte. The yo is optional, it's not required. One can eat well, so there's that passive voice, se puede comer bien. One more example. And here's an example of a question. Can you, in the informal register, can you go for a walk? So we start out with puedes, right? The informal form of the verb there, puedes, and to go for a walk, pasear. So can you go for a walk? Puedes pasear. If it were the formal register, if you were asking somebody and you wanted to be a bit more formal, a bit more respectful, then we just use the usted form of the verb, right? Puede pasear. Okay, in the space here in your Cornell notes, write what you just learned about the verb poder plus the infinitive. Adios.